So yesterday we were discussing about pulmonary tuberculosis. I came up to the point where macrophages are becoming epithelioid histiocytes. So they will transform, right? Making macrophages into epithelioid histiocytes. They are epithelium-like cells, but a little larger. Sometimes what also ends up happening is your macrophage will try to contain the infection. So for example, if I draw a lung like this, right? Uh, but tuberculosis is a pretty basic and important topic, so please feel free to ask me any doubts that you have. Right, it is essential that you understand it completely. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me at any time. All right. Now, if I take a lung like this, right, any average lung, the right lung, then let's suppose we are having a infection in this spot, which looks something like this. Okay, let's suppose this pink dot represents an infection here, or let's do it in the middle lobe. Okay, this is the spot of the infection. Now, what ends up happening is, at one point of time, I told you this bacteria is very, very smart, and it will not let your macrophage do its function properly. It will not let it devour its structure. The macrophage will not be able to kill the bacteria. One thing. Second is, it will not let the macrophage kill itself as well. Right, so it is not able to perform autophagy. Neither is it able to perform what you call killing of the bacteria. Basically, it is not able to perform phagocytosis completely. What ends up happening is, at one point of time, I told you yesterday that this macrophage will come into contact with your T helper cell, where your T helper cell is, let's suppose this is your lymph node, and in the path of your lymph node, in the lymph vessel, right, let's suppose this is the lymphatic vessel. All right, here you will be able to find T helper cell, CD4 type T helper cell. All right, so you have both CD8 type and CD4 plus type. Right, here the specific one will be CD4 type T helper cell. What ends up happening is, this T helper cell, on the surface of this T helper cell, your macrophage will release interleukin 12. I told you this is like a cry for help. It is basically asking for help, and your T helper cell in turn will secrete interferon gamma. Interferon gamma in turn causes what you call the production of, it will basically activate your macrophage to produce reactive oxygen species, and it will help your macrophage produce nitric oxide. Both of these will cause oxidative damage to the microbe inside, and it will your macrophage will basically be able to kill the microbe. So let's suppose this is the microbe, and this microbe has been dividing a lot. Okay, so I'll just draw them as dots. At one point they will spill out of the endosome as well and come into the cytoplasm of your macrophage, right? This reactive oxygen species and nitric oxide will start killing the bacteria, and your interferon gamma will also cause this macrophage to cause autophagy. If there are a lot of bacteria, the macrophage will kill itself and it will perform autophagy. Another thing this macrophage will do before dying is, it will produce TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor of several types, and it will produce chemokines. Chemokines, both of these will be responsible for monocyte recruitment. So hold on, they will be responsible for basically calling monocyte to the site of the infection, or the site of the damage. Okay, monocyte recruitment, it is basically hiring monocyte. Okay, recruitment means hiring, how you go for a job and they hire you, like that. Recruitment is what a person who is hiring does. Okay, so monocyte recruitment occurs, which will they will in turn undergo activation and differentiation. So I'll just write them as A and D. Okay, they undergo activation and differentiation. They get activated, then they differentiate, so they change the shape a little bit and they mature in a way, and you get epithelioid histiocytes. So you get larger cells, right? This will be a granulomatous response, and at one point of time what will happen is, these will be like granulomas. Okay, they will have granules inside them. At one point what ends up happening is, if the patient is immunocompromised patient, be careful here. Normally epithelioid histiocytes is the stage where your TB should stop if the patient is healthy, right? From here on out there will be different fates of tuberculosis. Till here is where what you call normal TB undergoes. From here on out you will have primary TB, or you will have secondary TB, or you will have scarring and all. Okay, that is the progression. the fate of tuberculosis. Till here, everything is fine, still manageable. And at this point, this is occurring till the first 3 weeks. All right. So from the time of exposure to up to 3 weeks, this happens. All right. If you are able to go to a doctor and get medication, or if your immunity is coming into picture, all of that, you will be able to stop the process here itself at the epithelioid histiocyte stage. All right. I hope you are understanding till here. Okay. If you have doubts, please feel free to ask. समझ में आया क्या हो रहा है यहाँ तक? I just gave you an overview of yesterday's class. This is revision what we discussed in yesterday's class. समझ में आया नहीं आया? You understood? Okay, I'm hoping that the rest of you all understood as well. If you have any doubts, please feel free to stop me. Now that we have come up to the point of epithelioid histiocytes, what happens is, specifically in immunocompromised patients, let's suppose I draw along like this. Okay, this spot where your infection occurred, let's suppose this is the spot. Okay, what ends up happening is it will start causing. Till now we were only in the phase of infection. Okay, I told you yesterday what is the difference between TB infection and TB disease. In infection you will not have significant cell damage, not enough to show clinical signs and symptoms. Okay, the patient might not show significant signs, maybe a light flu and things like that. Disease will be when significant symptoms are shown and you have significant damage of your tissue. Okay, so from here on out, the main difference is disease starts. How it will start is, because of tissue damage in this area. Let's suppose there was the circle that you're seeing in the lung. Here what will end up happening is a lot of cells will get damaged. Okay, macrophages will kill themselves and the surrounding cells will get damaged, and a lot of inflammatory material will come into picture. And what happens is they will start releasing a lot of fatty acids. So you will see a cheese like structure present here in your lung. If you literally see, 1 second, I'll show you a picture of caseous necrosis, how it looks. That is called caseous necrosis. Yeah, now if you can see this image, I hope all of you can see this image. Okay, this is an image of a lung. यहाँ पर local damage हो गए. If you can see this spot, yellow spot that you can see here. 1 second, this spot. Okay, if you can see here, initially the infection was localized and started there, and ultimately what ends up happening is the surrounding cells, okay, they will start releasing a lot of fatty acids, and necrosis will occur in that area. One small focal point where necrosis is occurring, that area wherever necrosis is occurring, that will be called a gon focus. Okay, GHON focus. Okay, the area which is undergoing this type of necrosis because of fatty acids, that is a caseous type of necrosis. Okay, you studied about it in cell injury. If you remember cell injury, we discussed something called caseous necrosis. All right, so caseous necrosis occurs in TB. So this will become a spot for caseous necrosis, and what ends up happening is your cells, macrophages and histiocytes and all of them, they will start clubbing together. So let's suppose, 1 second, yeah, let's suppose this is a macrophage. This macrophage will join with another macrophage and another macrophage and another macrophage, and they will end up making giant cells. Okay, these are giant cells. The literal name is giant cell. Okay, what this giant cell will try to do is it will try to surround this. Okay, not so big, it will try to surround this area of necrosis so that it does not spread. Okay, this is part of your immunity as well, wherein it is trying to contain the damage. Think of it this way: let's suppose in one colony, in one small house, there is fire. Okay, because of whatever reason, fire has spread in that house. Okay, gas leak or whatever you take it. your police officials and your firefighters, they will try to contain the damage, or they will try to contain the fire only to that house, so that it does not spread all around in the whole community, right? The same thing is happening here. If you can understand my example, here we already know that there is a lot of extensive damage where I have put the X mark, okay, because of caseous necrosis. So this will represent caseous necrosis, cheese like necrosis. That is why it is called caseous. Caseous means cheese like, okay. This particularly happens when the patient is immunocompromised. Normally, this should not happen. Okay, the medical damage should end up in your epithelioid histiocyte stage, where monocytes are being recruited and epithelioid histiocytes are formed. From there on out, it should stop. But sometimes if the patient is immunocompromised, either they already have HIV, or they are taking some immunosuppressants if they have rheumatoid arthritis or arthritis like condition, or any autoimmune condition where they have to take immunosuppressants, or they are on cancer chemotherapy, or they are malnutrition where immunity is not good, right? They are immunodeficient. In all of those conditions, TB will go all the way up to caseous necrosis. Here what will happen is your immunity will become hyperactive, and your macrophages, these are all your macrophages, okay, M5 represents macrophage. So your macrophages will join together, they will literally join their hands together and make a giant cell. These giant cells will surround this area of what do you call caseous necrosis, and it will stop this caseous necrosis from spreading all around in your lung. Okay, यहाँ तक समझ में आया तुम लोगों को? Are you able to understand what I'm telling?
So just repeat again, no,
Repeat
please.
again. ठीक है. See, in the first phase, I told you, bacteria is coming inside your lung. Macrophage is phagocytosing that bacteria, and initially the bacteria will not cause any disease. It will simply divide. It will proliferate again and again and again. It will keep on dividing up to 3 weeks, right? At around 3 weeks, what happens is this macrophage, because it is not able to kill itself, neither is it able to kill that bacteria. What will happen is this fellow comes in contact with your T helper cell, CD4 type T helper cell. Okay, 1 second. T helper cell. Okay, CD4 type. This CD4 type T helper cell, whenever it is coming in contact with macrophage, macrophage will call for help. Okay, it will literally ask for help to your T helper cell, wherein it is releasing interleukin 12. That is the call for help. It is basically going to the helper cell and telling, please help me. That helper cell will respond by releasing something called interferon gamma. Okay, interferon gamma causes the macrophage, I'll just put it briefly, macrophage to kill that bacteria and to kill itself if necessary. And it will also cause that macrophage to cause the production of TNF alpha, where it is recruiting monocytes, right? Monocytes, you know what are monocytes. I hope you know what are monocytes. It will basically cause monocyte to undergo activation and differentiation, wherein monocytes are transforming into epithelioid histiocytes. Okay, this cursor is coming in my way. Let's suppose this monocyte is becoming, so this is a monocyte. It will become a epithelium like histiocyte. Okay, these epithelium like histiocyte is the stage where TB should normally stop. In most of the patients who are healthy, TB will stop here. If the patient is immunocompromised, if their immunity is not working properly, that is when what will happen is, in this area your macrophages are not able to work properly, your immunity is not able to work properly, extensive damage occurs wherever there is this infection, and that damage will cause the cells to release fatty acids. These fatty acids will accumulate and they will start looking cheese like. Okay, if you generally see fat, it is yellowish in color, right? So what happens is, whenever these fatty acids are released in that area, you will see cheese like necrosis, that is caseous necrosis. Okay, that is characteristic of tuberculosis. Whenever this necrosis occurs, your macrophages will undergo differentiation. They will go into hyperdrive, and your immunity will take drastic steps. So because your immunity was not working properly till this point, your local macrophages, what they will do is, they will literally join hands. They will join hands like this, and they will become a giant cell. Okay, they will become very big cells, and they will basically try to ward off, or they will basically try to contain this necrosis. So let's suppose this is the area of necrosis. Okay, let's suppose this is the area of necrosis. your giant cells will basically form a border around this caseous necrosis, so that that necrosis does not spread. Okay, they are made up of macrophages. This is the point till where but this is one of the fate of TB. So here also sometimes it will stop. Okay, यहाँ तक समझ में आया क्या हो रहा अभी?
Yes, sir.
All of you, if you have any doubts, please feel free. Any point. Okay, ठीक है. Now this is the primary phase. यहाँ तक हुआ. ठीक है. Normally it should have stopped at what you call the phase where epithelioid histiocytes are formed. अगर immunocompromised है to then we go to the fates of tuberculosis. Now let's suppose I'm drawing a lung like this. Okay, there are three main fates of tuberculosis. What will happen eventually? So we draw a lung like this, and we have, let's suppose, here the bacteria which is causing damage. Okay, there are three fates that can happen. One, in 90% of the patients. Okay, in 90% of patients, what will happen is, यहाँ पर जहाँ भी damage हो रहा, this lung in this area, scar tissue will be formed. Okay, so repair occurs and the green spot represents scar tissue. So there'll be a small scar. The complete bacteria is killed off and there is no bacteria left, and you have scar tissue left. Okay, in that area of injury. Now normally if in your hand, on your hand as well, and sometimes on your body, whenever you cut deep or something, scars will be formed, right? The same thing will happen here. Scar is formed. Okay, scar is formed. So this will represent one fate. Okay, fate number one. Okay, I'm talking about fates of TB. Fates of TB. Okay, one fate is this area will undergo scarring and all the bacteria are killed and scar is left. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing, second fate, this bacteria will remain latent, in the sense that, imagine the bacteria going into hibernation. Okay, the bacteria will not cause any more damage, neither will it cause any illness or any symptoms. Okay, so you will have the same, the patient will look the same as this patient. Okay, यहाँ पर जब scarring हो रही, the patient has recovered technically. Okay, I'll put it as R. The patient has recovered, even if there is scarring, the patient has recovered. No more Mycobacterium tuberculosis. खत्म, complete treatment हो गया. Second fate mein what is happening, the patient will look as though they have been recovered. Okay, because bacteria is not acting up, even though in the cells, in your macrophage, if you actually what do you call, take a microscope, but perform a biopsy and take a macrophage in your lung, and what do you call, observe that macrophage, you will be able to see small Mycobacterium tuberculosis still present in the macrophage. So there will be a few uh, what do you call, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the bacteria present in the lung, but they will become inactive. Okay, that is the second phase. So this is called the dormant phase or the latent phase. Latent or dormant phase. So basically the bacteria is not causing any damage, it is nicely sleeping in your lung. Okay, right now what has happened in dormant phases, your immunity was able to stop the bacteria. It was not able to kill the bacteria, but it was able to stop the bacteria. All right, that is the second phase. I hope you are understanding till here. If you're not understanding anything, please feel free to stop me. Third fate, what happens is, illness is not stopped, meaning you were not able to, your body was not able to contain the illness. 90% of the patients will have this scarring tissue and over. 5% of patients will have this latent phase or dormant phase. The other 5% will have this, wherein infection was not stopped at all. So this will keep on progressing. So what ends up happening is, more bacteria will perpetuate, and what you call, more necrosis will occur, and at some point of time your bacteria will start spreading all the way around your body, and there will be proper complete infection. Okay, so you will see in this fate, systemic infection spreading to other organs. Okay, this type of fate is called primary progressive TB. Okay, this is your primary progressive TB. Okay, let me put it here. ठीक है, अभी समझ में आया what is happening? These are the three fates of tuberculosis. Okay, this is the third fate. The first fate is, there is initially, let's suppose there is person 1 and person 2. In person 1, what do you call, person 1 has TB and they have infected person 2 who is completely new, never got affected by TB, and they are completely new exposure. In person 2, three things can happen. The first thing is, after 3 or 4 weeks they will recover with scar formation. Okay, like this scar will be formed and they will recover. Okay, ho gaya. Second fit, they will go into latency or dormancy, wherein the bacteria will not cause any damage, neither will the patient show any signs or symptoms. So they will look the same as the first fit person. So they will look like a person who has recovered. But if you perform a biopsy and if you check their cells, you'll be able to see a few bacteria still present in their cells. Okay, meaning they are sleeping. They can reactivate at any time. The third fate is, they were not controlled at all. Okay, the infection keeps on spreading and it progresses. That is primary progressive TB. समझ में आया ये तीन fates? Do you want me to repeat any particular part or any particular part that any one of you didn't understand? You can put it in the
No,
chat.
understand.
All of you understood? That Anusha, Shanti, Maria,
Yes, sir.
Sandeep and Vandana.
Yes, sir.
पूरा को समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because if you don't understand these fates, आगे का समझ में नहीं आता. That is why I'm stressing on it. Okay. चलो ठीक है. So we'll discuss primary TB first. Now, as I told you, one fate was we'll let it go. एक phase was, first fate was scarring. Okay. There is nothing to worry about this fate. No problem. Second fate, or let's say third fate rather than second fate, primary progressive TB or primary TB. Primary TB. ठीक है, it is progressive, इसलिए it is called progressive because it is not stopping at all. ठीक है, now this will occur in basically in patients who are malnutrition and who are immunocompromised, especially in HIV patients. Whenever someone has HIV, they are very, very, very likely to get TB as well, because their immune system are not working properly. Especially if they get TB, it will be very aggressive, and what do you call, the infection will be much more quicker as well, because there is nothing to fight against TB, right? If someone has HIV, you know they will immediately become immunocompromised. There is no immunity in them. All right. In that condition, what will happen is, infection, any infection that occurs will progress very, very quickly and it will cause a lot of damage. So in patients who have primary TB, generally those are the patients who are immunocompromised like HIV, or they are malnutrition. Now in this condition, whenever I am telling that the patient is immunocompromised, this basically means that if I'm telling there is a immunocompromised patient, in them CD4 plus T cell are impaired, right? If their immunity is not working properly, then I can safely tell that your CD4 T cells are not working properly, because your CD4 T cells are a what do you call, immune cell. If your immunity is not working properly, obviously your CD4 T cell might not even be present altogether. So there is no one to help your macrophage in the first place. It also means that your inflammatory mediators might not be released, right? If you can understand the logic here, if someone is immunocompromised, they will have lesser number of macrophages in the first place. Second, their CD4 T cell might be low in count, or they might not work properly, or they might not be present altogether, all right, or very little number might be present. In all of these conditions, what will happen is your Mycobacterium tuberculosis will continue to progress. So if I take your lung, okay, okay, so here is, let's suppose this is the spot where TB is spreading, and there is nothing to stop that TB. So caseous necrosis is occurring like this, and several such spots are coming into picture. So this is one spot, and let's suppose this is another spot like this, and another spot in your lung. There can be several spots, okay, wherever there is extensive damage. And at one point, what will happen is, So this part where there is extensive damage occurring, this fellow will be called a gone focus. Okay. So basically, morphologically, the granuloma with caseous necrosis. Okay, this is a granuloma. All right. कहाँ है? हाँ. This is basically forming a granuloma. This granuloma, which has caseous necrosis in its center, meaning there are cells here. Okay, you will see a lot of cells here. You'll see a lot of cells here, here. These are all cells. The red color line that you're seeing, they are all cells. In between them, you will see a caseous necrotic center. That caseous necrotic center with the cell, that whole thing is a granuloma. That granuloma will be called gone focus. Okay. So gone focus is a granuloma with caseous necrotic center. This granuloma, when it starts traveling and it reaches all the way up to your lymph node, what will happen is at one point it will progress to such an extent that it will start involving your lymph node as well. So these blue dots that I'm drawing are lymph nodes. Okay, just for example, let's suppose this is your lymph node. At one point what will happen is this will enter your, or the particles of your bacteria, either antigens of your bacteria or the whole necrotic area, parts of your granuloma, they will start entering your lymph vessel and reach all the way up to your lymph node. What will happen at that point is, when you get a condition in which you have gone focus along with lymph node involvement, so what will end up happening is you will see caseous necrosis occurring around your uh, lymph node as well. So you will see a little bit of necrosis occurring around your lymph node. So lymph node will start getting involved basically. All right, it started with an area in your lung. This area in your lung, which was called gone focus, this starts spreading all the way up to your lymph node. Now it has to spread all over your body. यहाँ पर lung को already infect कर दिया. Okay, from here on out it has to spread. What it will do is it will pick up a nearby lymph vessel and it will start spreading like this, and it will start affecting the nearby lymph node to an extent that there will be caseous necrosis occurring in near your lymph node, and you will see inflammatory damage near your lymph node. When you have involvement of your lymph node along with gone focus, I'll just write it as GF. So lymph node involvement plus gone focus, this will be called a gone complex. Okay, gone complex is a condition in which your gone focus has gone all the way up to the lymph node and involved the lymph node, damaging the lymph node, meaning you'll be able to see damage both in your lymph node as well as in your lung with small granulomas, right? That condition is called a gone complex. Okay, समझ में आ रहा अभी तक? Are you able to understand what I'm telling? Yeah, Atul, do you have a doubt? Raise your hand. I'm not able to hear you.
Understood, sir.
Understood. All of you? See, any one of you, if you have any doubts, okay, repeat. See, this area of necrosis, okay, what will end up happening is whenever there is a bacterial infection in your lung, specifically your Mycobacterium tuberculosis, let's suppose I start from here, it will initially start damaging your nearby area. So this is a bacteria that is starting to damage. Okay, if you see microscopically, I'm basically referring to an alveolus. So यहाँ पर एक alveolus है. There are a lot of bacteria inside that alveolus. Okay, they are dividing a lot, and this area starts to get damaged. This area, ultimately what will happen is it will start getting necrosed, and to stop this necrosis, your cells, immune cells, will try to form a blockage like thing. Okay, like this, it will try to block it. This whole structure that you're seeing, this structure is a granuloma. Okay, in this granuloma, in the middle part, what will end up happening is uh, because of cell damage, here all cell damage will occur. Because of that cell damage, a lot of fatty acids are released. Those fatty acids will cause caseous necrosis. Okay, so this area, which is a granuloma with a caseous necrotic center, will be called a gone focus. Whenever this gone focus spreads all the way up to your local lymph nodes, Okay, you will have lymph nodes around, right? So whenever this gone focus starts involvement in your lymph node, wherein you will start seeing lymph node damage. All right, whenever this condition occurs where lymph node and gone focus both are present, lymph node damage and gone focus, that will be called, basically nodal lesions will occur here in your lymph node. That is called your gone focus. Okay, sorry, gone complex. So gone focus plus lymph node involvement or lymph node lesions will be, lesion is any damage. Okay, lesion is equal to damage. Any damage will be called a lesion. So they are lymph node lesions or nodal lesions बोलते हैं लोगों को. Due to this granuloma, it is called a gone complex. Okay, समझ में आया अभी?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what ends up happening is, there is something called repair, right? Repair and regeneration that occurs, right? So a part of repair is fibrosis and calcification. If you remember wound healing, there will be something called fibrosis and calcification. So I'll come back to that lymph node with, let's suppose this is one area of necrosis and this is a granuloma basically. So let's suppose this is a granuloma. Now whenever this plus this is there, you have a gone complex, right? That is what what we just said. Now what ends up happening is, because of extensive damage, your body will obviously respond with repair, right? If it is not able to regenerate, it will cause repair. At the end of repair, what will end up happening is, in this area there will be a lot of calcification. Calcium will start getting deposited, so the green particles are calcium. And let's suppose this, let me do it in pink. This pink particle is fibrin. So you will have fibrosis and calcification of gone complex. All right, at one point of time, gone complex will undergo fibrosis and calcification. So the caseating site and the non-caseating site, which is undergoing your fibrosis and calcification, this stage will be called a rank complex. Okay, so we came all the way up to gone complex. At one point, what will happen is, gone complex will undergo fibrosis and calcification, meaning calcium will start getting deposited. See, not just here. So calcium and this thing will also be deposited near your lymph node. Wherever there is damage due to Mycobacterium tuberculosis, your body will respond by fibrosis and calcification. Both of them are part of repair. Fibrosis and calcification are part of scar formation, if you remember. Right, so you will have calcification here and fibrin being what you call accumulated here. So this whole area will become fibrotic and it will become calcified. That stage is called a rank complex. Okay, or ranky complex. समझ में आया क्या हो रहा? I'm hoping all of you understood. I'm not getting any response, so if you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, this is the fate of primary progressive TB. This is the fate of primary progressive TB. Okay, formation of rank complex, that is the end of primary progressive TB. All right, not exactly end. At this point of time, what will happen is, from rank complex it will start going all the way up to your other organs, and it will start affecting your other organs. Let's suppose from your lymph it will enter your blood, from blood it will go all the way around your other organs, and it will form millet like structures. Okay, so it will form small dal malum hai na? What is dal? You eat dal, right? It'll be like millets. Small millet like structures will occur on the surface of your organs. Okay, this is called miliary TB. This is the miliary TB. This is what happens after rank complex. Once rank complex is formed, your tuberculosis, the bacteria will start spreading all over your body, especially to susceptible organs. So like liver, bone marrow, spleen, meninges of your brain, your spinal cord, sorry, kidneys, fallopian tubes, adrenal glands, all over it will start forming these millet-like structures. That stage is called miliary TB, where it is going to other organs and affecting the function of other organs. All right, that is what happens after from primary progressive TB. ठीक है, समझ में आया? I'm hoping that you understood. I'm not getting any response. So see, this is what happens at the end of primary progressive TB. Now coming to secondary TB. Secondary TB is a condition in which, so that was primary TB, secondary tuberculosis. Secondary TB happens in two ways. Okay. Now one way that it can happen is two ways. One way is, let's suppose there was one person, person X and person Y. Okay. Person X already had TB and they spread it to person Y. Okay. And person Y recovered from TB, and let's suppose person Y is recovered from TB. No more TB. Okay. So completely, the first fit, scar formation occurred in their lung and they have recovered from TB. Okay. Now let's suppose again they get infected with new TB. So let's suppose another patient of TB, let's suppose patient Q, this fellow has TB and they are again coughing on person Y. So they are getting reinfected by TB. At this point, it will become secondary TB. All right. I hope you are understanding. This is basically one way, reinfection. Okay. So the person already had recovered and they are getting reinfected by another person. Okay, that is one way. Second way, if you remember the second fate of TB, wherein the what do you call Mycobacterium tuberculosis, they were lying dormant or they were lying latent. Okay, they were nicely sleeping and hibernating. Let's suppose that same person in the same case. Let's suppose यहाँ पर person Y has not recovered, but they have gone into latent phase. Okay, so I'll draw it as latent phase. So meaning they still have Mycobacterium tuberculosis inside their lungs, but or inside their body, but it is not causing any disease. Now at one point of time, let's suppose the person ages and they become old, or because of whatever condition their immunity drops, so they become immunocompromised. So they become immunocompromised, their immunity is not working properly because of whatever condition. Either they got cancer and they got treatment of cancer, or they contracted HIV, or whatever reason because of which immunity is decreasing. At this point, what will happen is this latent bacteria that was nicely sleeping, it will get activated. Now latent TB in the lung, let's suppose this is a macrophage, or this is an what do you call area in your lung that had these small TB particles or small TB bacteria. This was being controlled by your immune cells. So you had epithelioid histiocytes that were controlling this area. It was not letting this bacteria spread, and these bacteria were nicely sleeping. Now whenever immunity is low, what will end up happening is these cells will become impaired. So your defense against the bacteria will decrease. At this point, what will happen is your bacteria will mount another tuberculosis reaction, or basically again the disease will occur. That type of TB is your secondary TB. Okay, the two ways. So the first way was reinfection, or second way from latency. Okay, due to low immunity. ठीक है, these are the two ways you can get secondary TB. समझ में आ रहा तुम लोगों को क्या हो रहा? How you get secondary TB? One way is reinfection, when the patient had recovered and again someone who was affected by TB came and coughed on your face, so you get reinfection. That will grow much more rapidly, that is why it will become secondary TB. The second way is the patient did not completely recover from the first TB attack, they went into latency, and because their immunity is low, it is coming back. Okay, chalo, we'll continue in the next class then.
Yes, sir.
चलो ठीक है.